And so, what's up, guys? My name is Rich Simmons. I am a street artist, pop artist, turned NFT artist this year. And we're here to discuss street art, NFTs, how they collaborate, how they've kind of crossed over. Joining me is Vic.
Good afternoon. I'm a street photographer. Being brought up in London, Brick Lane is full of street art. Fell in love with it, so I started doing some photography and then collaborated it with the work that I do. It gets very, very technical. So in a bit, I'll be speaking about how that affects the NFT side. And I'll pass you over.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Ronzo. I am I call myself Vandal extraordinaire. I do like half legal, illegal, sort of like installations without asking for permission in the street, Brick Lane as well. I got a cool NFT sculpture project coming up as well, where you can take pictures of if you like. And yeah, I'm excited to be here and chat a little bit what can be done with digital vandalism.
Absolutely. So I'm going to kind of take you back a little bit. I started as a street artist, in particular stencils. If anyone has seen Banksy, that's a stencil. And I kind of started that way 15 years ago. And moving from street art, I've gone into galleries. I've exhibited around the world, taking this kind of technique of using spray paint and stencils and putting it on canvas. And with NFTs now coming in, it's very much an engineering challenge of how do you combine art with engineering. And stencils is essentially the exact same thing. So I get to use my stencil street art techniques where it's using layers to kind of figure out, okay, layer 1 is the skin tone, layer 2 is the hair, layer 3 is the lips and the glasses and things like that, all the way to the black layer. And I can do multiple paintings with a set of stencils. I can maybe do 10 canvases, and that's it. So I don't have too much choice in terms of how many versions I can do of it. But now with NFTs, you'll be posing over here.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. Now with NFTs, I can do thousands of versions because I can, instead of it being one color of spray paint and then another color of spray paint, I can now pick thousands and do as many as I want using this technology. And it's allowing me to get my work out there to a lot more people. But it's using these street art techniques that I've been able to kind of bridge street art to NFTs by using stencils. And that's kind of a little bit of my journey with how we've got to this point with NFTs now.
So if we go back some time, definitely in the 80s, most of the street art would be graffiti. And I'm not going to lie, if I saw graffiti in a street, I would go the opposite way. It just had a certain vibe. Come along, street art has come on leaps and bounds. Like you said about stencils, murals, you got people like Otto Shade, as well as these guys, Mr. Zenz. And these guys, they're selling work for in the region of, like in sterling, up to £3,000–4,000 plus. Now, as a photographer, I had an idea. I do ballet photography. I wanted to incorporate a ballerina merging herself with art from various artists. I must have gone down Brick Lane because everyone goes to Brick Lane. And I decided to take pictures of different art by Stone, Alex Diaz, certain artists. Now, this was run about a good few years ago. Then NFTs come, and I thought, okay, I want to mint this work. So doing the right thing, I thought to myself, I need to get consent. And I contacted these artists, and I said, I want to mint this work. Can I have your consent? And you can have royalties, of course. And they said, no. If they say no, you can't. So if anyone at all is thinking of going in the street, taking pictures of any street art, and then thinking they can mint it and make some money, don't do it, because you'll be hit with legal fees, you'll be sued.
But hold on, can I ask you something about this?
Sure.
Yeah. Or is it like a monologue?
Sorry?
Not this one. Oh. It's just like, but if you take the picture of the house of the wall, how is that copyrighted then?
So basically, because, I mean...
Because you would make money from it, essentially.
Yeah. So if it was just like you're taking a picture of it and you want...
But if you put it in a book, because like we always in books, like all the artists, and we never get money from the book sales, you know?
Yeah, but I done the decency thing. I contacted the artists because where in my work as well. I arrange projects with communities and I get artists to come. You have to have that respect, so I'll contact the guys. And they just said, no, we've got our own launch coming up, and I don't want to get it hampered in any way. So I had to respect that, and I said, okay, well, if you change your mind in the future, let me know. So out of 6 artists, 2 gave consent, and I minted them. I've got 2 images currently left. But like I said, with these artists, they turned around and they said, yeah, I've got a company, because street art is, as you know, you are so busy looking for walls, doing your work, doing the planning. You haven't got time to go on spaces or do NFTs. So it's usually a company doing it for you. And I said to him, I said, well, you're doing all this, but don't forget, your art is amazing and people buy it in real life, but in NFTs, people want to hear you speak. And it's a different thing. So they said, no, I've got a company doing it. And I said, well, you're going to have to start from square one like everyone else does. You can't just go in and say, okay, this piece is going to be sold for something like 4 ETH, for example.
Super interesting. At least you asked, which is like, obviously, a great thing to do is other people would just do it and see what happens. But I was under the impression from, maybe it's that commercialization angle, but I would just thought if it's in the public, public sort of like imagery and is on a wall and it's maybe even not even authorized, if it's not like a graffitied Gucci advert or whatever was commissioned, then everybody can just take pictures and do whatever they like.
Yeah, no, I think anything that you do that you're going to gain financially, you have to get consent. And we came, I mean, with the few artists that I've managed to do work with, we agreed, and they were going to get a certain percentage of the work. But anyone, I beg you that if you're going to do any work, please think twice, get consent, because it's important. And you know how much hard work you put into all of the work that you do.
Yeah, I mean, seeing your work turned into T-shirts and you don't have consent, you have to... I mean, this comes back again to the IP side of street art and things. You look at people like Bored Ape and you get the IP. So anyone can own a Bored Ape and turn it into a vodka company or a burger shop or whatever it might be. But with my artwork coming from galleries, coming from street art, having people collecting this work, and me, I'm straight edge, I don't drink. So I don't want to see my artwork affiliated with vodka. So if someone owns my work and then puts it on that, that's actually a reflection of me and my artwork and my morality, and I don't want that. So owning the IP and being able to offer that is a very tricky thing with NFTs. What is the value, and how can you give value in other ways if you're not offering someone the IP to the artwork in the NFT? It's a tricky one, but I'm trying to leverage real art. I think a lot of people that like street art come from that world where they like the physical, they like seeing the artist's touch, they like seeing the wall, they like knowing that an artist has been there. And with a lot of NFTs, it's very impersonal. It's digital. The artist may have never touched this thing. It may have been a computer-generated collection. That's, again, something a lot of NFT people understand. They like that. But physical collectors in particular, they're put off the NFT side of things because there's no physical attachment. The artist hasn't touched it. How can we bridge that by offering street art workshops? How can we offer prints? How can we offer paintings? With my collection, Reflections, which came out in February this year, 3,333 versions of a piece that I've done previously as canvases, as street art. And I was able to give away $100,000 worth of artwork with that collection. People that have never held a painting, never been to a gallery, now own a $10,000 canvas in different parts of the world. And it's the utility, that physical side of things, that is going to connect NFTs, street art fans, actual street artists. There was another thing I wanted to touch on in terms of graffiti and street art, is how we can benefit from this. A lot of graffiti artists, a lot of street artists don't get to make it to galleries, and they don't get to benefit financially from their talents. The ability to get into a gallery is 0.01% of artists will get a gallery show in their lifetime. I'm very lucky that I've managed to do that around the world. But a lot of people can do incredible artwork, and it will be destroyed within a couple of days. People tagging over it, it gets destroyed. taking a photo of it, taking a video of it is the only way to kind of immortalize a piece of artwork in that sense. And by doing that, you're creating a digital asset. You're creating something which can then be traded as an NFT. So the artist now has something that can be put on the market. They can sell that. But then you take that back a level, and an artist has probably got hundreds and hundreds of pages of SketchUps and outlines and doodles when they're preparing to do their street art. That can all be turned into digital assets, which artists can then sell. They can have the secondary revenue from that. And they can go out and they can do the graffiti, maybe take a photo of that, make that an NFT. But the graffiti is then, it doesn't matter if it gets gone over because it's immortalized on the blockchain, through the digital asset, through the photography and everything else. So an artist doesn't have to rely on a gallery anymore to make an income from this. You can now bypass that whole gallery space, and it's opening up the ability for artists of all different styles, genres, that a gallery would never touch in the past, can now make an income from their art through NFTs. And I think that's an incredible use of this technology to allow artists to not just do this as vandalism, or not to just do this as, I enjoy it and I'm going to go out and spend 20 quid on a few cans of paint to put something up. It's now that £20 investment in a few cans of spray paint can make me a lot more money by selling it as an NFT, as a digital asset, and they can leverage their back catalog of drawings, of sketches, of other photos of their work in whatever way they want to do it. So it's completely leveled the playing field for artists, and I think that's a fantastic thing.
Yes, unless I absolutely agree, yeah. Unless you're a photographer and you took pictures of street art, and then you can't.
I think one of the most important things is, what we need to remember is, we're here because we love NFTs. We've got so many people that have 2 jobs. They could be office workers. In my daytime, I'm a building surveyor, and then I like doing photography. But you guys, all you do is art. And what people need to remember is this is their bread and butter. You need to get paid for it. So where you would go to galleries, have launches, and have postcards you hand out, it's being turned around. So now you've got some people doing NFT art 24/7. It's the same with yous. And you need to pay people for their work. Don't steal other people's work, because people need to be appreciated for their creativity. And that's why I would always, for example, on Instagram, if I took a picture of someone's artwork, credit them, because people like to know, like the amount of times I would see someone post someone's photo and I said, do you know who that is? No, I ain't got a clue. So it's educating, and we all know about NFTs now. Where are we going to be in 5 years' time? Where are you guys going to be in 5 years' time? It's going to be huge. So we're lucky to be here now. It's a learning curve, and we're going to just keep on improving and moving better.
There's also a massive gap here for artists to raise the bar for other artists. There's a stigma in NFTs that a lot of the artwork is crap, and you see random pixelated, stupid things that would never be in a gallery space. And people from the NFT world, they don't necessarily understand physical work. They've not been to galleries. They don't know who Leonardo da Vinci is. They don't know who these higher-end artists are. So they don't know what quality is. And they're buying things and spending a lot of money on shit. I apologize for that, but it's absolutely true. And it's going to take more artists coming into this space that can educate on, this is why I've used this color, this is composition, this is golden ratio, this is what goes into being a high-end artist. You deserve a quality product. If you're investing in the artist, you're investing in their talent, in years and years of going out on the street, doing stencils, cutting for hours and hours and hours in their studio, lonely days, lonely nights, sacrificing a lot of things to try and become an artist. Quality deserves to rise to the top, and I think it's going to take people like me, people like Damien Hirst, people like Takeshi Murakami, Parley, all of these fantastic artists that are coming into this space that are talented artists. They need to raise that bar for other artists and for collectors that haven't gone through the traditional art collecting channels of galleries to realize what their investment is worth. And I think quality art will always come up top.
Yeah, and it's getting, absolutely. Well, I wanted to ask you guys, wondering if you think about anything apart from bridging the gap between street art and NFTs, what that could be in terms of like selling a photograph or or like a page of the sketchbook, or I guess that's with any art form, like maybe similar. If you're like an oil painter, then maybe you can sell your sketch, or if you like whatever, an animator, you can still drawing frame out of like an animation and stuff. But what I fell in love with like street art and also the graffiti thing, which maybe you don't like so much, is that sort of a little bit rawness. It's like kind of, and that I don't know if anybody remembers here. It's like super long ago. There was like subway art, like a book came out from New York where somebody photographed all the first trains, and then when that came to Germany, then everybody is like, oh, what is this? It's like amazing. Let's try to find like, there was no spray cans anywhere. This was my car, like paint shops and so on and so forth. And the best thing I thought was all about it, which I still see in the street art, is just like you go to somebody's building, maybe without permission, you just like a little bit decorating the urban landscape or your area we live, or you see other people, what they're writing, their sign, their names getting up, and so on and so forth. And I was wondering, apart from obviously what you thinking, apart from commercializing your imagery, your IP in it, like what can be done to get that flavor into like NFT world, as in like, I won't say like destruction of like other people's stuff, but if I go to Decentraland or like even Sandbox, it is too clean for me. So I was wondering if there's like a way where guys like us can go in and spray like trains, whatever, inside a computer game, but I guess not without permission, but like some sort of layer of like destruction on top of like too clean stuff in the metaverse. You know?
I think the best thing now is I can't wait for more street artists to get involved in NFTs, because as soon as you guys start getting on spaces, you'll mix with so many creative people and network. They will do this. The amount of times recently that I have spoken to artists and they've said, this company approached me and they said they could sell my art and they've done this, they've done that. They got scammed. They lost their work. They tried to basically copy and paste documents with legal writing. So I hope there's someone out there that can reach out to you guys and say, look, this is what we do. We can help you and we'll take this much of a percentage, because you do need assistance, because it's too hard to do so many things at once. So I really hope you network, and I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait for you guys to hold spaces, because your fans need to hear your voices, like the music artists.
I'm already in talks about TV shows, so I'm taking it a step further with that. But leveraging technology and going from street art into the metaverse, into everything we're talking about here, there's going to be technologies where, and there already is, where you can use digital spray cans and you can create artwork in the metaverse in augmented reality. There's going to be, you've all seen Google glasses and things like that. There's going to be more of that moving forward in the future, and there's going to be augmented digital mapping. And an artist can pin artwork onto a wall, and no one else will see it unless you're wearing the glasses and you have the street art filter maybe switched on. So the world can be as colorful as you want. An artist can go and actually create that and not destroy property, but create it digitally, map it into a digital projection. And that's an incredibly exciting way that artists are going to be able to leverage this technology. And going from the street art and learning about the engineering side, about NFTs, about how to create multiple incomes, you also have to imagine that if I get hit by a bus tomorrow and I don't have the ability to use my arms and I can't paint for 6 months, how am I going to make an income? How am I going to pay my bills? I need multiple income streams as a business person to be able to be an artist professionally. So having NFTs, having digital assets, having that secondary income, having the option to communicate and tell these stories, being able to inspire, you need to have backup plans on top of backup plans, because you don't know what could happen tomorrow. I could trip off this stage, break my arm, and can't paint for 6 months. Well, how am I going to do that besides not tripping over? So leveraging NFTs is another fantastic way, and more artists should get into this space to be able to make an income from this, because they're sitting on years and years of folders and artwork and projects and photos that they're not digitizing, they're not turning into assets, they're not then making an income. And I think more artists need to come to this space and realize how they can leverage this technology. But we need to make it easier. We need to teach more artists who don't, a lot of artists aren't good at business. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
We need more artists to think like an entrepreneur.
Not me.
There's a massive opportunity here for us to shape the future of art. The traditional gallery model is dead. You go to a gallery show and it's just paintings on walls, people are going to walk out. It's going to be people like Cause, if you've heard of Cause, I hope you have. Projects like his Serpentine Gallery show over the summer where he had augmented reality, and you could see his companion character sitting on top of the museum 200 feet tall. That's the kind of thing that's going to excite the next generation to go, wow, this is incredible. What else can you do with art? Where else can I explore art? I want to go to Leek Street and see the street art. I want to go to South Bank, but then I want to explore it through the metaverse. I want to explore it digitally. I want to own this thing to give me access to go to his studio. All these different kind of things we can leverage to bring artwork to people in brand new ways.
I mean, very quickly, because we've got a minute and a half left, what I would like to say is it's so complicated. What you said about breaking your arm, when I organize projects for street art, health and safety, licenses to put apparatus on public footpaths, consent, certs for if they can go on a cherry picker, the list goes on. And then the work takes up to a week or two, then it's done. But if anyone does have any questions so we can help street art, please do get in touch, because I really feel that these gentlemen either side of me need to be praised so much, because they're just, the talent they do with spray cans is ridiculous, and I can't speak highly of you guys, so I just wanted to say thank you so much, and it's good to see you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening in. We've got 30 seconds. If you're on Instagram, Twitter, anything like that, you can find me on Rich Simmons Art or Rich Simmons NFT on Twitter. I also run a project called Art as the Cure, where I'm leveraging creativity to try and help people with mental health issues, going into schools, running street art workshops with kids, trying to spark that creativity so art can be a cure for them as well, like it was for me. Art saved my life, and I'm now on stage getting to share that with you and educate that. If it wasn't for art, I wouldn't be here. So go and check that out as well. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Have a great day.